That I think, that year they went to the playoffs, he was one game away from an NFC championship game and making the right decisions, and his completion percentage, I think that keeps us on track. So that's a big part of it. Obviously, you want to see the big plays. I think Daniel Jones is capable of that as well.
Stephen Holder covers the Colts for us. You've been all over this all offseason. Heck, at the Combine, we were talking about GM Chris Ballard kind of foreshadowing this, leaning into the word competition. What ultimately led to this being the way forward, and what are the implications for both of these quarterbacks?
Phil, you're right. That word competition has defined the offseason for the Colts. When the subject of quarterback comes up, they needed more out of Anthony Richardson. They thought competition would perhaps bring that out of him, and they had a very spirited competition. Ultimately, for Shane Steichen, it's a lot of the things he just outlined in that clip, which is some of the stuff that we can't see. It's not the big arm or the athleticism that we see from Anthony Richardson. It's also the management of the huddle and the small things at the line of scrimmage that maybe are intricacies to us, but very pivotal to the outcome of each and every play. So for the two players here, I think this is going to be something of a defining moment. You have Daniel Jones, who now, this is the culmination for him of a great decision, in fact. Back in March, he bet on himself to come here on a one-year deal and win this job. He has won it. And for Anthony Richardson, this leaves numerous questions. He was asked to compete. He did that. He went toe-to-toe with Daniel Jones. He lost this battle and perhaps will not play this season. That's a daunting thing to accept for a 23-year-old, one-time franchise quarterback, or thought to be a franchise quarterback.
And now all eyes in Indy can shift to that Week 1 opener against the Dolphins. Colts will breathe a lot easier if Daniel Jones is cleaner out of the gates. In his career in season openers, he's just 1-4, losing the last two by a combined 68-6. Stephen, thank you. Supporting the case for Jones over Richardson, I mean, it's been a tough go for the 23-year-old among QBs with at least 15 starts. His passer rating and completion percentage both rank dead last since he was drafted. His completion percentage actually the worst of any QBs with 15 starts this millennium, and his touchdown to interception ratio ahead of only Daniel Jones in the last 2 years. How about that? Mike Tannenbaum back with us, grading the approach the Colts took to all of this. Mike, did Indy do enough to give Richardson a real shot at succeeding?
I think so. When you look at their skill players, first of all, Alex Pierce led the NFL in yards per catch as a receiver. They have Michael Pittman, a big physical receiver, and obviously, Phil, a great running back in Jonathan Taylor. Look, was the offensive line perfect? No. Was the tight end situation perfect? No. But no situation is perfect, right? We saw Patrick Mahomes deal with a left guard, left tackle. The key to me was knowing that he was inexperienced. Let's pick a lane and say, hey, we are going to go until glass breaks. He is our starter. We know it was only 13 games in college, which is way less than most quarterbacks. And let's just try to get him a little bit better as we go on. So I think there was enough of supporting cast, but I think it was a lack of patience ultimately that did in Anthony Richardson.
And this will now make 8 different Week 1 starters in Indy in the last 9 seasons. In probably related news, the Colts 1-13-1 in season openers since 2010. That's the worst in the NFL. Richardson, no, not the only QB with ample motivation. How about last year's #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, trying to acclimate to life with a new head coach and new play caller? Courtney Cronin covers the Bears for us. Court, what does Williams need to prove this year in Chicago?
Hey, Phil, coming off his strong preseason debut under Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams feels like he knows this offense, knows what's expected of him, and that now it's time to show results. Both Williams and Johnson acknowledge that there have been days in training camp where it feels like the quarterback took 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. And for Williams, it's keeping that growth mindset in the forefront, knowing that there are likely to be other hurdles he'll encounter in season as he aims to master this offense. And he'll get there in a number of different ways, doing things like using the cadence as a weapon, getting more comfortable playing under center, and helping the Bears become a more explosive unit. The goal, the former #1 overall pick set for himself this season and beyond, be able to handle everything Johnson expects him to.
Sam Acho, you used to ply your trade in Chicago. What does Caleb need to show in year 2?
He needs to show leadership in year 2. The arm talent is there. The coaching staff is there. The receivers, the tight ends are there. But he needs to show leadership when things don't go his way. Last year got sacked 68 times, and so often the demeanor was this demeanor of dejection. He needs to be able to inspire his team when things aren't going his way.
Williams finished last season with the 5th lowest total QBR, a stat pulled way down by his sack numbers. How about another former number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, entering year 5 with a 3rd new head coach and a contract only behind Dak Prescott in average annual value. Mike DiRocco covers the Jags for us. D-Rock, what does Lawrence need to prove this fall?
Thanks, Phil. It starts with staying healthy. Lawrence has missed 8 games over the past 2 seasons because of 6 injuries, including 2 concussions. Beyond that, Liam Cohen has cleaned up and changed Lawrence's footwork in order to put him in better position to go through his progressions and make quick, decisive throws. Does that mean that Lawrence is going to set career highs in passing yards and passing touchdowns the way Baker Mayfield did last season in Tampa with Cohen as his offensive coordinator? No, but it could result in the consistency that has eluded Lawrence throughout his career. So how's it going so far? I asked someone inside the organization how they would describe the way Trevor Lawrence has looked through training camp and 2 preseason games. I got a 2-word response: bleeping amazing.
We appreciate the abbreviation, Mike. Mike T. Lawrence, just 25. Does his play get enough attention?
No, it doesn't. He needs to play a lot better. Michael used one word, consistency. I'll use another one, which is fundamentals. For somebody as talented as he is, he was at the bottom of the league in completion percentage at 60%. He was 29th in completion above expectations, meaning he is not delivering the ball consistently, accurately, something that is inexcusable for somebody that is as talented as Trevor Lawrence. Before he's great, he has to be good, and that starts with the fundamentals.
And you think if he were in a larger market than Jacksonville, the 22 wins and 60 starts would also get more scrutiny as well. Hey, winning games was the problem early last season for the Bengals. In fact, it's been a problem early each of the last 3 years. Joe Burrow getting Bengals won, but Joe Burrow, what did you take away from that game?
Some good learning experiences in the couple drives that we've had. Got some fumbles out of the way, so that was good. Yeah, those are just incredibly valuable reps that usually work out those kinks in the first couple weeks of the regular season, and we've worked them out last 2 weeks.
Mike, Zach Taylor has made it known he's going to try and do something different this summer. You know, some more preseason snaps, perhaps. Team started 0-3, 0-2, 0-2 the last 3 seasons. Are you okay with how they've approached this preseason to try and dispel that?
Yeah, for the most part, I thought it was really smart. I give Zach Taylor a lot of credit. The easy thing would have been to say, hey, we're not going to play Joe Burrow, but he did. And he got some meaningful work. Where I got a little concerned was on that last drive. T. Higgins and Jamal.
That they won a lot last year, November, December, but they dug such a deep hole in September, it didn't really matter. As for that Bengals defense, rightly scrutinized last season, Coach Taylor said he was happy with the unit last night despite allowing 185 yards on the ground.
I feel really excited about where our defense is at. We go against them every day. It's tough of them so far in these 2 games. So those are things that we don't want and we can avoid, and whatever the call is, we should do a better job at that. But at the same time, I know what I see every day in practice, and I'm excited about the direction of our defense.
Sam Acho, linebacker fraternity, are you optimistic about what you saw on the field from the Bengals last night?
No, I'm not even close to as optimistic as Zach Taylor was. So you look at what they did early on in the game, it was porous. The defense gave up huge lanes, not only down the middle, but on the outside of the defense. Poor tackling became an issue as well. I understand you have a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden who came from not having Trey Hendrickson. This is the fundamentals of football. Tackling is like number 1, and they're not doing it. And so for me, this could be another struggle of a season for the Cincinnati Bengals if they don't get their defense situated. They were in the bottom third of the NFL last season, didn't look too much better last night.
Well, they're still without Trey Hendrickson, and it's possible they could be without Trey Hendrickson for a while because the 2 sides continue to be in agreement on the length of a contract, on the average annual salary of the contract, but nowhere near close to an agreement on the guaranteed money in the contract. That is the issue right now. It continues to be the hang-up in any discussions and negotiations. And so Trey Hendrickson has been open about the fact that he is not going to play this season on his existing contract. Mike Brown has said he doesn't expect Trey Hendrickson to play this season on his existing contract. The regular season opener is about 2.5 weeks away. So if they can't get a deal done, and they haven't made any progress so far, what does Trey Hendrickson then wind up doing? He's adamant he won't play, and if he won't play, then this defense will have to get by without him somehow.
You know, earlier we talked about RC's tweet from yesterday, Phil, about, hey, Trey Hendrickson's going to get paid before the end of the game. If I'm the Bengals, I bent a little bit on Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. He's led the NFL in sacks over the last 2 years. With Trey Hendrickson, you have a meaningful chance to have a great year without him. We saw what happened last night. I just can't imagine how they're going to be functional on defense without him.
Led the NFL in sacks, and it's not like this is a team like the Broncos where you have multiple 10-sack guys. Hendrickson himself accounted for 49% of the Bengals sacks last season. Coming up, Brian Daboll has said Russell Wilson is the Giants starter, but Jackson Dart hasn't been far off the bullseye himself in the preseason, so much so that someone here thinks the year one player should be QB1 in the Big Apple. Find out who and why next.
You've earned